One of the greatest challenges to growing in your faith is how to get along with other Christians and how to function within a local church. And this next step is again a part of a series of videos under the Disciple. It's under our playlist on our channel called The Disciple, walking through step by step the different aspects of how to grow and mature in our faith. And this is under the category, you'll notice on the playlist that I'm putting things in categorical listing, but this is under the category of church philosophy. Now people wrestle with that word philosophy. Really all that means is a way of thinking about something. So we want to try to figure out what's the right approach to our involvement in church. And probably the biggest thing that gets people stuck is being hurt by someone in the church, or let down, or disappointed by someone in the church. And many people either switch churches or leave and are no longer a part of a local church altogether as a result of something going wrong between them and some other person that was a part of that church, whether it was a leader or just anybody inside the church. But we see in the Bible that we're called to be continually in Christian fellowship. So that on the one hand, if the Bible teaches that, we should do that. But on the other end, for some reason, people don't always do that. So we want to think through logically, practically, what is going on when someone in the church does something wrong or hurts me or someone else that I care about. And really what's going on is we want to think about Romans chapter 3, and we also want to think about the Great Commission in Matthew 28 and in Mark 16. So Romans 3 talks about that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, that we all have this, that there's none righteous, no, not one. We all have this sinful nature about us. So since we're so inclined to do the wrong thing, it's not that we always do the wrong thing, but we have this inclination to do it. We just kind of stumble into it at times. And since that is the case, then if we are going to work with other people, then the expectation should be that at some point I'm going to get burned here because I'm dealing with broken people. That's really, that should almost be assumed that is going to be something that does take place. The more that often that happens, the more that's an indication of a lack of maturity within the individuals in the group. And so there's a need to move towards discipleship to help us develop in our faith. But at the same token, there's just going to always be brokenness around us. And there's a lot of other relationships we don't leave. We don't leave our job when things aren't perfect. We don't leave our house when it's not perfect. We don't leave our family, even though that is becoming an issue, people leaving their families because of a lack of perfection. But is that really healthy? Because none of us seem to be able to truly attain perfection. So is it really healthy? Will we ever have healthy relationships at all if our expectation is, you should never do anything wrong or I'm out? And yet that's the way we tend to handle our relationship with our local church. And so we need to start rethinking that. Maybe my standard shouldn't be, and we might say, well, no, my standard's not perfection. But again, we leave, and many people won't participate in the local church because of imperfections. That's just, our actions are indicating what our philosophy is. I'm only going to stay if everybody involved is perfect. And again, if we were to just call it out and say that, we would recognize that that's completely unreasonable. We cannot raise that expectation. And so one of the things that we need to work out in our minds and hearts when it comes to our involvement in a local church is that there's just always going to be imperfections, especially if we add to it. So maybe we'd say, well, people should be maturing in their faith and representing Christ well. And that is absolutely true. And what the church should be doing is discipling people, and the result should be mature believers and less of that brokenness. And that also is absolutely true. But if we are going to succeed in fulfilling the Great Commission, that means that we're going to have this steady stream of people that we just reached that are new to the faith, haven't been really discipled yet, and therefore still have a lot of brokenness and are going to bring that brokenness into the church family. So there's going to be this constant influx of brokenness that's being developed into being healed and functioning like Christ. But there's this constant influx of people coming in who are broken, let alone the idea that anybody that was still there and been there for a while won't also have some level of brokenness. And so we have to keep that in mind. And I think that the more we keep that in mind, and understand it, and recognize it, and think about things that Jesus taught about forgiveness, then we might be able to stomach remaining a part of a local church that has imperfect people in it, that is led by an imperfect pastor, that has leadership that is imperfect, and a system, a way of approaching things that's not perfect. Again, if we demand perfection, we'll never have the relationship. So I encourage you, whether you're a part of Bethel or another local church, plug into that local church and show forgiveness for the imperfections and stay faithful. The Lord will reward you for it, and he will do a work in your community. If you live in the Pittsburgh area and you don't have a church that you're currently a part of, then we would love for you to begin that journey with us. We're at 2501 Staten Street, Wednesdays at 6:30 and Sundays at 10 a.m. But if you have any questions on that idea or the entire series of The Disciple, the playlist, just leave that in the comments below, and I'd be glad to respond to any questions you have. God bless you.